sure people will continue to join us, but it is 8 o'clock, and so we should probably get started. My name is Ned Desmond. I'm the executive producer of SiteTech Global, and I'm glad you're joining us here to talk about the website. I have a couple of colleagues and helpers who are joining us for this event. Robert Frawley, who's the head of marketing, is on the call, and Sam Proul from Fable, who is a super user in the screen reader department and will help us understand and parse some of the feedback that we receive from all of you and perhaps help answer questions. Also, Alice Turner from the Vista Center, which is the organization behind this event, the Vista Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Silicon Valley, which is also the beneficiary of this event. We also have Dimitri Paperny, who is the developer and designer who's been working on this site and the overall event experience. So we're all really glad that you've joined. It's a little bit unconventional to have a session like this in advance of an actual virtual event, but we noted that there were a lot of difficulties on the accessibility side in the virtual event world in recent months, and so we're trying extra hard to get it right so that people can enjoy the event as opposed to fussing with unfamiliar environments online. So with that, let me just walk through a few things before we get into a description of the event site and how it works. So I think you're already all doing this, but please use your headphones so that we can limit background noise. This session is being recorded and will be available post-event on our YouTube page. We'll send you a link to that. Please keep your microphones on mute during the session until we reach the Q&A feedback portion of the walkthrough at the end. To ask a question or provide feedback at the end, please use the raise your hand function and our host will call upon you, or you can type questions in the chat if you prefer. We're not being super formal about this. If you see an opening to ask a question, feel free to do so. You can also use the chat box. I already mentioned that. So here's an overview of the conference. The dates are December 2 and December 3. Each day starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time and will end around noon Pacific time. There are 15 what we call main stage sessions and 11 breakout sessions, so 2 different types of sessions across the 2 days. Now, what is a main stage session? The main stage sessions for SiteTech Global are where you'll see all the big speakers from Apple, from Microsoft, from Amazon, interviewed by the moderators. They're the main part of the production. All the main stage sessions take place in a YouTube video player on what we call the event page on the SiteTech Global website. So we'll get back to what an event page is and how it works in a minute. Now, what is a breakout session? These are 30-minute sessions produced by SiteTech Global partners. So some of those partners are American Council of the Blind, Perkins, iAdaptability. There are 11 of these sessions, but they're produced by our partners. In contrast to the main stage sessions, each of these breakouts is produced in a Zoom webinar format. So in order to go to them, you'll have to join a Zoom, and we'll get back to that in a minute. Main stage sessions and breakout sessions overlap, which means you will have to choose one or the other during the show in some cases, but all sessions will be available in video on demand format after the event. So you can always take in what you missed later on. So in whatever moment you happen to be participating in the show, if you have to choose between a breakout and a main stage session, don't worry. You can always come back and see the video on demand version later. In addition to the main stage and the breakouts, the event also offers attendees the opportunity to comment and pose questions in a single comment stream provided by a firm called Slido. I suspect some of you are familiar with Slido. It's pretty widely used in the event space. Attendees can see each other's comments and questions and can and so can the host of the show, who will do shout outs to some of the best comments and questions. Very important to the overall experience of the show, just stepping back, is that there's no login, no password, or ticket information needed to access the event. The morning of the show, we will send an email containing the links for the event page, the agenda page, and the Slido commenting page, and you can click on them directly. Alternatively, you can just go to the SiteTech Global website, and there you will find in the navigation at the top of the site a link to event and a link to agenda. And if you have those two links, you can enjoy the whole show, either of which is a good starting point. Okay, so now I'm going to turn to the event page where the main programming happens in the YouTube player, and give you a little bit more detail about that. The event page is home to the video player that will stream the main stage session for 4 hours each day, where Will Butler, who works at Be My Eyes, will be the live host. Most attendees will probably spend most of their time on this page simply engaging with the main stage programming. When you land on the event page, you'll find the YouTube player near the top. Below the YouTube player is a description of the current session playing and the upcoming sessions. Also below the player is a link to our question and comment stream. This link takes you to another page where you can ask comments, make comments, ask questions that other attendees can read and the host will watch, as I've already noted. There are also links above and below the YouTube player that go to the agenda page, which lists the full program of the event. So now let's talk about the agenda page for a minute. This page is at sitetechglobal.com/agenda. The agenda page lists all the main stage sessions, the speakers in each session, and all the breakout sessions. So all the content of the event is listed on the event page, on the agenda page. At the top of the page are 3 drop-down menus that filter the event listings on the page. The filters allow you to filter by day, December 2 or December 3, by type of session, main stage or breakout, and by status, upcoming, current, and past. Important, as soon as you change a filter, the agenda will automatically filter the content on the page. There's no button you need to press in order to put the filter in gear to make it work. So just simply change the filter and then the page changes. As you move down the page, you'll find all the dates, times, session titles, descriptions, and speakers for each session. To find the session that is currently running, you'll look for the Live Now tag. If a main stage session is currently ongoing, you'll see a link to join the session now, and that link will take you back to the event page and the YouTube player I mentioned earlier. For breakout sessions, on the other hand, is distinct from main stage sessions. There's a Zoom link appended to the listing for that breakout session. When it's time for the breakout session, an attendee simply clicks on the Zoom link and you'll experience the normal Zoom webinar experience. A new window will open up over the agenda page, and you may be prompted by the organizer to provide your name and email address, and then you'll be able to join the Zoom webinar. If you're rusty on how to use Zoom, we will provide or have provided a few useful links in the email that we sent last night that can give you a few of the additional keyboard commands to use a Zoom webinar efficiently. There is a Zoom link on the agenda practice session that we labeled a breakout session. It will just bring you back here to this Zoom meeting. It won't take you to a different one, but on the day of the event, it will take you to, any Zoom link will take you directly to the partners Zoom session. Now, the last major section of the site, as I mentioned earlier, is the Slido section, where it's possible to make comments and ask questions. And this is the last and an important part of the event. Throughout the show, as well as today, you can go to Slido and make a comment or ask a question about the program. No registration is required when you land on this page, and you can post using your name, or you can post anonymously. If you don't put in your name, it just automatically posts whatever you have to say anonymously. Everyone else at the event can see what you post, and so can the host of the event. We'll also have moderators watching the feed during the actual event. The link to the Slido feed is in the email we sent. You can also find it on the agenda page associated with the main stage agenda session for today. So if you happen to go to the agenda page, the first session listed is a main stage session, and beneath that is a link to a Slido for that session. Okay, so now's the time to try out the agenda page, the event page, and the Slido experience. Please leave this Zoom room open and go to your browser and follow the event agenda or Slido links that were in the email, or find them on your own as you prefer. And give the experience a try, and make a note of any questions or feedback you may have. And you may come back to this Zoom room when you're ready. And please mute yourself so we don't have to hear everyone's engagement with the site. And I should actually pause now and ask if there are any questions before you all try the site out. So as I read this through, I realized we should probably take a few questions if there are any before you go off to try it. And then of course we're here when you come back. So let me pause there.
I have a quick question, Mickey Quenzer.
Sure.
You're putting in links. I'm Zoom user using an iPhone with VoiceOver. I don't think you're able to click on those links with VoiceOver. I'm not sure though, I can't find them.
Did the links in chat that we sent?
Yeah.
Well, if you go to, can you go to a website?
Yeah, I'll go to my email and find the links that way, but I just thought I'd let you know. I don't know if it's because I don't know what I'm doing yet with the chat session on Zoom with the iPhone. But at this point, I don't see any way to make use of those links that you're putting in. Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Mark in Montreal, yeah, it's true. You cannot, when you guys share screens and stuff, we can't access that information with the screen readers, either on the phone, Mac, or Windows.
Excuse me, and this is Sarah Harris. So actually what you can do is you can go to the chat and you can click on it, and you can copy the URL and then go to Safari and open Safari and put it in your address bar and hit search, and it'll go straight to it.
Not with the iPhone and VoiceOver.
I actually just did it right now. I used my iPhone just to see if it would work, to be honest.
I'm an iPhone user, sorry to interrupt you, sis, and hi, Mr. Desmond and others. But on Android and on my PC, I'm opening the voice and it works for me. It's so intuitive. It works for me. No complications. No complications found, and no errors found. So it's very usable.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, anyway, there are a number of ways to navigate to the site. If the links aren't working for you, then I'd suggest you search for Site Tech Global from a browser on your phone, if that's what you're using. And the site will come up at the top of your search results, I hope. And from there, the top navigation of the site contains the links you need. One is labeled event and one is labeled agenda. So that's another way to get there.
This is Kestrell. I've been learning about Zoom, but I'm using Windows and JAWS on my PC at the moment. But the issue is that I just asked someone from the Carroll Center this morning how to grab information from the chat. It's not something that's widely circulated. Like, I don't think it's even on the Zoom, hotkeys, how to copy and paste that. So basically it's accessible, but it's something that I think a lot of people aren't going to know how to do.
Yeah, well, on the event, the day of the event, we're not going to be dependent on these links in the chat on Zoom, because everyone will receive an email who's registered for the event that provides them the links to join the event, with the same links that we put here in the chat, and the same links I believe we put in an email earlier, and that'll be the easiest way to access the event, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
okay. Yeah,
Yep.
we talk. See, this is Luis Carlos here again. Yeah, for some users, it's really kind of able something, but with MBDA on my side, it's working fine. I mean, it's accessible for, unless I need a little bit of an add-on, but for this, it's accessible. Zoom for me. I use also universities for our class meetings, and it's I have a class meeting at 6 or 7 o'clock my time, and it's accessible.
Sam,
Yeah.
did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to jump in. Hi, everyone. It's Sam from Fable. For those of you who are using your Zoom on your desktop, either Mac or Windows, if you are planning to join any of the Zoom sessions, I would encourage you to make sure that you have the latest version of Zoom, and you can do that in the status menu and clicking check for update, because Zoom on desktop will generally only prompt you for what they call critical updates, that being updates that have security implications. But there have been a lot of accessibility fixes in more recent releases of Zoom. So if you are planning to join some of the Zoom events next week, I really would encourage you to do that check for update so that you have all of the latest accessibility features available to you.
Right. Thanks, Sam. And just to back up, so to clear up any confusion about the relevance of Zoom to this event. So to enjoy the event, most people will click on the event link, land on the event page, and watch the main stage programming, which comes through a YouTube player embedded on that page. So that's, I think, pretty straightforward. And then there's the agenda page, which is interlinked with the event page, where you can review the different sessions. That doesn't involve Zoom. Zoom only comes in play during the actual event if you choose to join a breakout session, and all of those breakout sessions are held in Zoom. And as you go down the agenda, there will be a very obvious link to click on the Zoom session associated with that breakout session. So the only reason we're using Zoom today is just to give this little webinar and to answer questions about the event itself. So to enjoy the main stage of the event, the main programming of the event does not require Zoom. All you have to do is land on the event page.
This is Larry Gassman with a quick observation from the desktop from my PC. I'm finding that sometimes, with regard to the email that you sent last night, and there were 3 links, that I have to click the links twice in order for them to activate. Not sure why, not sure if it affects everybody, but it did affect me.
It doesn't affect me. For me, it doesn't affect me.
Okay, good. Then maybe it's just an inadvertent user error. Okay,
well,
good.
The web is a quirky place, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Just in case it happens to somebody, that's what I did to get rid of it.
It's Kim Kilpatrick, and I am using an iPhone, and I went into the email after we were on here, and I was able to click on all of those various links. I just had a comment and a bit of a question. So I'm using an iPhone with a Braille display so that I can turn speech off so that I could still be listening to you and enter text in the Q&A. But I know for a lot of screen reader users that are listening to a workshop at the same time as monitoring the comments, it's not as easy for us to do that and do both. Would people be able to leave comments after a session or during a break about a previous session? That would be one adaptation you could do.
Yes, the comment stream will be open all the time, and there's only one comment stream that runs throughout the whole day. So that we think will make it much more straightforward for everybody.
I have a question, please. Mickey Quenzer. Sure. Will you be providing any other audio format besides MP4? In other words, what I'm really saying is that I've noticed that it's a little bit hard. It's hard to use the video player after the conference is over. It's hard to go and use the video player and take notes when you're using your iPhone or PC. It would be a lot easier, if possible, if you guys could create MP3 files that are available so somebody can put them on their player.
I see. Is that for a specific device?
It's for any, well, I guess you could say yes, but it's really any MP3 player can play those files, and it's easier to, use rewind and fast forward without a video player when visually impaired people are trying to study after the event is over. I've found that out from previous events that other people are hosting, and nobody's really thinking about that when they have the video feed and think that that's going to work out well for, for studying afterwards.
That's a good tip. Let me look into it. In general, it's not that difficult to resave a file like that in a different format. So if it's possible, we'll definitely look into it.
And if you need volunteers to help you convert stuff, just let me, I'm willing to help out if I can get some instructions to do it, to help out. So
thank you. And I'm sorry, and who is this? So I'll make a note of your name.
Mickey Quenzer.
Okay, thanks, Mickey.
Okay.
Hey, Ned, my name is Greg Rogers. Just have a quick question for you. In terms of the Slido link, are the Slido links going to be embedded within the event link? So when you click on the event, you'll be able to just do a find command and search for Slido, or how is that going to be?
Well, I might need Sam's help with this, but the way it, for a sighted person, the way it works is that you'll see the event name. It'll say, Amnon Shashua is going to talk about OrCam, and then beneath that, there's a link that says comment or question, and then any of the main stage sessions have that same link. It's repeated over and over again, but they all go to the same message board. There's only one message board for the whole show. In terms of how it would come across in a screen reader, it would be great if you could test that out today and tell us whether you think we've done a smart job with that. The very first item on the agenda has this Slido comment and question link associated with it, so you should encounter it when you give it a try. But Sam, I'm probably missing something. Can you help me out here?
Sure. So the link to comments and questions appears in a couple of places. It appears on that agenda page, but also when you are on the event page, so you've got the YouTube player at the top and you're listening to the event live, the link is also directly underneath of that player. But in all of the places that it appears, it is called comments and questions. So the word you'd want to do a find on if you want to jump right to it would be comments.
Questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And since it's only one board, only one messaging environment, commenting environment, you don't have to worry about which one you happen to be in. Yep.
And it will be the same kind of comments and question link throughout the event. Those of you who do sort of find it challenging sort of to listen to your screen reader speech and to listen to the event at the same time, another thing you might find useful to do if you have multiple devices, say a phone and a desktop, is to have the comment stream up on one device and have the event on the other. And that may help you sort of separate the two streams of speech and control the volume between the two a little bit easier.
Yeah. We have a question here from Winnie Wong asking, is the website navigable by voice? It's navigable by voiceover, and all the other screen readers, but I don't believe it's navigable by voice command. Am I missing something on this, Sam?
So I don't know what software the question asker is using. However, the website does sort of follow the applicable web standards. So if you're using software like Dragon Naturally Speaking or the voice control functions on your iPhone, the website should be functional for you.
Thank you. So I'd encourage people to give the website a look and try it out and see if you think it's a good experience. And please ask questions or make suggestions. That MP3 suggestion was a great one. But we're wide open to any great ideas that you might come up with. We want everyone to have a great experience on the site.
And then it looks like Bernhard has a question.
Hello, friends and neighbors. I'm Bernhard from Austria. I did some testing and I can confirm this item on the agenda where you can go to the remarks and comments works well. I already sent one comment and it's no problem. And I even can create a profile which is kept between two sessions, which is also very convenient.
Wonderful, thank you.
But there is a question of mine. I posted it, but perhaps we can talk about it orally. On the Slido page, there is an open menu button which does not reveal its meaning to me. I press the button and nothing seems to happen.
Interesting. Open menu.
So my understanding of that button is that Slido, as well as being used for questions and comments, as we will be using it in this event, also allows you to sort of see or to view presenter slides in some events. And so what Open Menu does is it lets you open a menu to switch between the active slide and the stream of questions and comments. However, because this event is only using Slido for questions and comments, there's no active slide for you to switch to.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Sam.
This is Greg Rogers again. Can I make just a suggestion?
Of course.
So, for instance, the watch live link is before the description of the session. I would probably put it after the description.
Aha, okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense. That way, that way I can just sort of navigate by headings instead of having to use a bunch of up arrows to get back to the watch.
That makes sense because then you'd hear about the event and then the next thing you hear would be the link to click.
Yeah.
Dimitri, who's our designer,
No.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So switch it around so that you first get the name of the session, then you get the watch live.
What I think I would do, and this is just me, and I'm just an accessibility testing manager, so I don't develop websites. But what I think I would do is, have the name of the event, in the heading, and then have the watch live, and then the comments and questions right below that.
Okay, that's a good point. We'll definitely do that.
Another advantage to that would be that the headings would then become basically the sessions, and you could go use your commands for next and previous headings to go between the sessions.
And then just open a session in a tab, and then you can always just come back to the agenda.
Yeah. So currently on the event page, each sort of session title is a heading, as well as headings, a heading to look at the list of speakers. So are you sort of saying maybe make that heading a link?
You could do that. Yeah, you could do that. And initially what I was thinking was, Well, let's see. I'll just do something real quick. That's not working. Have the heading 2 that describes the session, maybe the heading 3 that says list of speakers. And then under that, you have like the watch live link and then the Slido link.
Okay. So just switching it around. So instead of being above the event, it's below it.
Yep.
Mark in Montreal?
Yes, Mark.
What I was thinking is, like, it'd be nice to be able to see what the topic is, this like a heading, the speakers, and then link underneath that. So in that logical sort of format, so and then you could go to your next heading, that set topic, speakers, link, so and it'd just be easier that way. And if it's, I don't know if they're timed out to when they expire after the speaker or whatever, but something along those lines. So it's just easier to navigate, so you know exactly where you are and what you're linking on.
Right.
This is Greg Rogers. One final suggestion. I'm sorry to sort of keep.
No, that's fine. Please go ahead.
What I would do is put the comments and questions link after the speakers list of each session.
After the names of the speakers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it definitely seems that it would make it a little easier if the join the session link came after the description. So that's something we can work on. And the comments, we'll think about that too. It's always a little difficult to know how to order this information.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, that's one of the benefits that you maybe not. I know it's a lot of information for you guys, but there was I'm not going to mention the one, but there was another conference that I went to, and they really didn't look at any of this stuff, and that conference was very hard to use because they hadn't taken any suggestions. So we really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. And thanks for offering us your time to help us figure this out. It's really beneficial. And we've also had a lot of help from Fable and Sam Prule's team along the way as well. If we're partway there to a successful presentation of the event, it's thanks to Dimitri and to Sam's team. They've really put a lot of thought into this.
I have not so much a question as a comment. So I was at another virtual conference on assistive technology, and there were a number of pre-recorded spoken bits, and a lot of them had the person speaking with like background music that was a little bit louder than background, and I have a hearing impairment. And I found that I missed a lot of what the person was saying when it was spoken over music. And I don't know if, people have already recorded what they wanted to say and stuff, but my suggestion is to not have music competing with people speaking for people with hearing impairments. It's very, filters out a lot of what gets said.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Montreal?
Yes, well, we just to reply to that, we will have music in between sessions for a few seconds, but not when anyone is speaking. So
yeah,
hopefully that doesn't pose a problem.
Yeah, that should be fine. I just and also the music annoys me, but I'm like, if you're gonna do this, at least make it good music. But
well, that's a tough one. I hope it'll be good music.
I would agree with that. It's Mark in Montreal. When you're hearing impaired and the music overshadows or is a little bit too loud and tries to compete with the voice underneath, it's really a distraction. I find that a lot in descriptive audio, and the music really, unless you're running a demonstration video or something, sometimes it makes it look nice, but it's really not necessary.
Not only that in music, but also in movies and in films. it's that happened the same way. And I said, that's life for sure. That's life for sure. Some issues and something, but that's
Yeah.
real life for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yes, we've put the production together in a way to really focus on the conversations between our moderators and our speakers. So there's no music, there are no slides. It's really just purely about conversation, which I hope you will enjoy, because that's the way in my past life I like to build shows, to really put people on the spot, to discuss their views without any distractions.
Great.
Hi, I'll just chiming in here. This is Robert with Site Tech Global. We have about 4 minutes left, so I think we could take probably 2 more questions. It looks like Don Barrett.
Yeah. Hi, Karen from Trinidad. I'm looking at the website now, and I'm on the events page, events heading. That's where the agenda is actually. It's yeah.
The agenda's on the page that's called Agenda, and there's an event. The YouTube player is on the event page, and beneath that are 2 sessions: the current session and the upcoming session, but not the full agenda.
Hi, this is Don Barrett. Am I coming through?
Yes, Don.
Thanks so much. A real quick comment on the agenda. I think one of the things that would be really helpful is if you guys could make the time slots also headings. If I know I'm only free, like starting in an hour, like at 9 or 9:30, I want to be able to quickly to jump from time slot to time slot using a find heading command. That would be really helpful. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for the tip. We'll look into that. I should also let everyone know that there will be live captioning for the main stage sessions and for the breakout sessions. VITAC is providing that live captioning service. And then there will also be captions added and a full transcript in plain text available for the VOD, the on-demand versions of the same sessions. Those captions will be provided by 3Play and will be higher grade because they have more time to make sure they get everything correct than is the case with live captioning. But the live captioning on the first play will be by humans. It's not AI based. It's human based captioning in both cases. If there are any other questions, I should also add that during the show, there will be help available. Our partner Be My Eyes is our partner for customer service. And if you go to the Be My Eyes app and you go to events, you'll see Site Tech Global listed, and there will be people available who are familiar with the event to help with any navigation issues that might be necessary. Also, you can always email our team at help@sitetechglobal.com if you want to speak directly to me or to Robert or anyone else helping out with the event. Are there any other last minute questions or observations? We have about a minute to go.
Nope, thanks for having this practice session.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
That's really appreciated.
I have one problem encountered. I'm a little confused, to be honest. When you say all the main stage activities are on YouTube, this here is also a main stage activity. So I started the watch now, was directed to the event page, opened the YouTube video, and I got only music.
That's correct, because what is on the event page right now is just a placeholder. It's not the actual event. So
Okay.
yeah.
And what might perhaps also confuse people is the following. when you start the YouTube by having the play button on the YouTube player, you get a message, this YouTube video is not available. It is only active for inside YouTube use, not outside. I can manage it because then I have the button view on YouTube, but this non-available information might perhaps confuse users, I do think.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we just were not attentive to the setup of that, what they call YouTube embed, when we put it there for the purposes of this practice session. But we'll make sure that it plays effortlessly on the day of the show. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you. Also compliment, the device is wonderful. I managed to test everything and I would say it works perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you. Glad to hear that. All right, folks. Well, thanks very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the show next week. And I really appreciate the insights and the ideas you have for how to make it better for everyone. So thanks again, and hope to see you next week. Thank you.